Hi everyone, in today's video we will see tuple data type in Python. Now tuple data type is exactly the same as a list data type in Python, except tuple data type is immutable. We cannot change the value in a tuple. That's the only difference. Now to create a tuple, we use parentheses. So here we're creating a tuple A and we're storing the value 1, 2 and 3. Now just like list, we can store more than one value in tuple. We can have more than one data types in tuple. For example, we can have integer, we can have string, we can have boolean, float, any other data types in tuple. And tuple is indexed just as in list, and we can have duplicate values in tuple as well. Now to create an empty tuples, we use empty parentheses like this. We can also use the function tuple to create a tuple. Now, one thing we have to remember, when we create only one value in tuple, for example, in this here, we're creating number 1 in tuple, we have to use a comma after that one value. If we don't use a comma after that one value, then that value is not created as a tuple. Now, indexing is exactly the same as in list and as in string. So when we use positive indexing, we move from left to right. For negative indexing, we move from right to left. Now tuple is immutable. Unlike list. So if we have a tuple here 1 and 2, and I try to change the value of the tuple at the 0th index, it will give us error. But we have to remember, we can use the mod signal here to change the value of the tuple. For example, here we had 1 and 2. If I use a mod 2, now the tuple becomes 1, 2 and 1, 2. So it got multiplied by 2. So what happened here is a new tuple is created. So when we say immutable, it seems like we are changing the value of the tuple, but not. We are changing the whole tuple, not any one value or one item within a tuple. Now one important other thing is, within a tuple, if we use a data type which is mutable, then the value in that mutable data type can be changed within tuple. For example, here we are using a tuple A, we're storing the integer 1, 2 and 3, and then the 4th place we are using a list. So we can use, because I said we can use different data types in a tuple, so we can use list, we can use integer, boolean, we can use string. So here we are using a list. Now because list is a mutable data type, because the list can be changed, so in this tuple, if you use index 3, which is pointing at this list, and then index 0, which is pointing at the value 4 within this list, we can change that one certain value within the tuple. So here we are changing the value of 4 to 6. So now our new tuple becomes like this. So remember, if we are using a tuple, within a tuple, if we are using a data type which is mutable, then that value can be changed. Then we have some methods in tuple. We have count method, which count the number of times we are using this value. Here the value 1 is used one time, and then we can use the index method to find out the index of the value 1, which is 0 here. And then packaging and unpackaging. Now when we create a tuple here, a is equal to 1, 2, 3, it is also called packaging. Now how do we do unpackaging? So we can write like variable a, b, c, and then on the right side of the equal sign we can write any tuple. So what happens is, each value from this tuple will be assigned to each of these variables. So value 23 will be assigned to a, the value 4 will be assigned to b, the value 5 will be assigned to value c. So this is our tuple. If you want to create an empty tuple, we can create like this. If we have just one value, we have to use comma to create a tuple like this. Here we can see that using type function, we can find out the type of the data types. Here the type of C is tuple. Now if we create C is equal to like 2 like this, and then we try to find out the type of C, we can see it's an int type. So when we use one value in tuple, make sure to always use a comma after that one value, otherwise it will become integer instead of a tuple. A is a list here. So we can use a tuple function to create a tuple like this. So B is our tuple now. Now if I try to change the value of a tuple, any one value of a tuple, we're gonna get an error. So this happened because tuple is immutable. ID function, what it does is it gives us the location where the object is stored. For example, here even we do IDA, it gives us where the a tuple is stored in the memory. So this is a memory address of the tuple A. Now, if I try to change the tuple like using this, a is equal to a plus, if I try to add one other tuple to this tuple, now a becomes like this, right? So before a was 1, 2, now a is 1, 2, 4, and 5. The question can be asked, tuple is immutable, so how come the value has changed? Let me do IDA. Now if you guys look carefully here, ID of a here is this, and the ID of new a is this. So these are two different IDs. So when we did a plus some tuple, it creates a new tuple. The old tuple is still there. It is not deleted or it is not changed, right? So new tuple is created and a new tuple is stored at a new different locations. So hence we can say tuple is immutable. Now the indexing concept, like how to access the value of a tuple and then slicing, these all I have already created a video on these ones. These are exactly the same as in list and as in string. So please go through those videos. A.count method, it counts the number of times the value is stored within the tuple. 1 here is stored only one time, so we get 1. A.index method gives us the index value of this value 1, which is at 0th index. When we create a tuple like this, it is also called packing. And when we do like this, it is called unpacking. Now what happened here is, on the right side we have a tuple 1, 2, 3. So each value of this tuple will be stored in one of these variables. So 1 will be stored in B, 2 will be stored in C, 3 will be stored in D. So this is called unpacking. So if I type B, I got 1, C has 2, and then D has 3. So this is called packing and unpacking in tuple. Now with this, we are all done with the concept of tuple. See you guys in next video.